So what I think we're really seeing from the Cavs right now is how badly they miss Kyrie Irving. I don't think that they thought this was going to be this big of an issue early on. I think just the mood around the Cavs the first couple of weeks of the preseason was, we're going to be just fine. And they miss him, Carrie. He created so much for them on offense. And what you have right now is you have these teams who are willing to let LeBron go off. We saw it in Washington on Friday. It didn't work for the Wizards, but what they're doing is what other teams are doing. They're like, okay, we don't fear any of these other Cavs offensive players. We're going to let LeBron get his, and we're going to stick to J.R. Smith, and we're going to stick to Kevin Love, and we're going to stick to Jay Crowder. And without having Kyrie, without having that second dynamic offensive player, the Cavs have really had their defensive weaknesses exposed from last season. So
to blame Kyrie, the earth is flat Irving is the problem?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I blame him, but he is the reason why they are struggling.
I have a hard time believing that they will continue to struggle. What's the one thing that they need to do to turn things around?
Well, they're going to have to make some starting lineup changes, I believe. And that's a little bit of an issue within the team right now because you had Dwayne Wade come in, get a starting job when not everybody on the team thought he should have got one.
Yep. Then
he took a step back out of that starting job, and now yesterday, he was terrific yesterday off the bench. He had 25 points, by the way. And he's criticizing the starters after the game, saying, I'm kind of tired as a second unit having to come in here and always, come back from a 15-point lead, which, by the way, he's right. The Cavs are the worst team in the NBA in the first quarter.
All right.
And that's the starters.
All right, let me talk about this. Do you think he's criticizing the starters or he's just pointing out the obvious? Because I want to go back to the issue of what's going on in the locker room. Is there a bit of a power dynamic or a power struggle, if you will, because they don't like the fact that he has a rapport with LeBron and they do not?
I don't think that's the issue right now. I think Dwayne's sitting there and he's seeing the starters go out there and not play hard. He said as much yesterday, and that is an issue. And if, in a way, even though these comments that Dwayne made yesterday could be seen as divisive, I could actually argue that it's showing good leadership. He's a 15-year veteran saying, hey, you guys got to play harder coming out of the gates. Yesterday, not only are the Hawks 1-8, Carrie, they were missing 5 players.
Okay.
And they got to a 25-10 lead to start that game. And that's unacceptable. And J.R. Smith is really struggling. Kevin Love is really struggling. Yeah. Jay Crowder has really only played like a good 1.5 good games.
Sure. But it's what, 10 games into the season? Chemistry is an issue. I just have a hard time believing that they can't figure this out.
Well, one of the things that we're hearing is like both Ty Lue and LeBron starting to say, well, we can't wait till Isaiah Thomas comes back. We can't wait till Isaiah Thomas comes back. To me, that's them sort of grasping at the unknown because what the known isn't working very well.
Okay.
And they've got a brutal schedule coming up. Bucks tomorrow night, and then a 4-game road trip.
All right, so you say something. I'm hearing a few things, and it's really interesting to me because we always like the drama in the locker room. I see, and from what I'm hearing, Dwayne Wade is taking on a role in which he did in Miami. He was the leader, a different leader. He's not the outspoken, loud leader, but the leader in saying things to these players, perhaps communicating in a way in which LeBron can't.
Well, I don't know, because last year he said things about his Bulls teammates that ended up rubbing them wrong.
Yeah.
But Dwayne coming out last night and saying the starters got to play better. Number one, it's 100% true.
Right.
Okay.
That's not a.
But number
that's
two,
a lie.
it's a guy who's been on the team, a month and a half, making a very strong statement. But he carries a strong voice in the locker room. Plus, everybody knows he's got LeBron to back him up, and I think LeBron probably feels the same way. But by the way, LeBron's part of that starting unit.
Yeah.
Carrie,
he could be talking about him as well.
They're giving up 55% shooting in the first quarter. That is dead last in the league. You cannot win. The other night when they beat Washington, that amazing game, LeBron scores 57.
Yeah.
They gave up 70% shooting in the first quarter. They just shot 73% themselves. They have got a major issue starting games, and I'm telling you, a lot of it has to do with Kyrie not being there because him taking out exposes the weaknesses of other players.
Okay, so it's all Kyrie then.
A big part of it is the Cavs missing Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie is 8-2, 8th straight win last night. He's doing just fine.
All right, well, check your mentions because Cavs fans don't want to hear that, Brian. They don't like what you just said.